Okay guys, so here I am back about an hour later, and I'll show you what I've just brought out of the oven. That is the end result of an hour's, slipping about, an hour's worth of baking at about gas mark 5. I did turn it down a little bit. I also got it out of the oven at about half an hour, and I just gave the tomatoes a bit of a push with a wooden spoon, just to push them down into the liquid, and just gave it a little bit of a knock around so as it all kind of collapsed on itself, and then put it back in for another half an hour to bubble away. And you can see that it's just this rich, thick goo of tomato and all the other bits and pieces that we've put in there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sieve this into a measuring cylinder, a measuring jug, and all I'm going to do is, first off, I'm going to take out, or attempt to take out, the cinnamon sticks. This is very hot, but I'm going to take out the bits of cinnamon because they're just going to get, if you can see them easily, I can see one, but I can't see the others. Oh, that tastes delicious, but we'll come across them as we go. So I'm just going to pour this bit by bit, because it's hot, that's why I've got the oven gloves on, bit by bit into here. I'll do it in about two portions, I think. Put the first half in there, and I shall just get a wooden spoon and I'll just mash it against the sieve. There's one other bit of cinnamon, and I'm just mashing it against this sieve to get all of the tomato that I can. It takes a bit of working at. Now you've got to give it a bit of effort, and you can see that there's a lovely juice appearing in the jug below. It needs a bit of a mash, and we just mash that together, and you can see that we've got a beautiful, rich, thick juice appearing at the bottom, and that's pretty much mashed that half of that. Okay, and also then remember to scrape off all the really good stuff from underneath the sieve. Okay, so that's the first half mashed into there. Right, and then that is just waste. I shall just put it in my waste bin. There we are. Okay, that's now gone to waste. And the second half, now I think I can pick up that tray now, it's cool enough. I can put the second half in there. Okay, and I do the same thing, mash it around so that I get all of the goodness, all of the tomato out of it. We'll just, you can tell this is live, can't you? The telephone's going. Nobody's going to pick up, no doubt. There we are. Just goes to show you there's no special setup for this. This is real life. This is exactly how I do it in my own home. So there we are. That's the second half. Whoever that was on the phone has given up, fortunately. So that's the second half, mashed nicely, and all the goodness is out of it. Okay, and remember to take the stuff off the bottom of the sieve as we did the last time. Okay, and that can now go to waste. There we are. And that's that, goes in the sink. And now we've got this gorgeous tomato puree. If you can see that, it's absolutely fantastic. And the taste, well, those fabulous Moroccan spices are in there. And all we need to do now is to boil that down. That needs reducing down so as it becomes a bit thicker than that. At the moment that's a little thin, you know, that's not really ketchup at the moment, that's, you know, that's more like tomato soup. So all we're going to do is we're going to put it in a saucepan, okay, and we're just going to reduce that down. Put it on the heat, let it boil away until it gets much thicker than that. So we'll just put that on there, and I'll come back to you when it's got to the right consistency for the next part of the process. Okay guys, here I am about 20 minutes since I spoke to you last, and the ketchup that we strained through the sieve into the measuring jug has been in the saucepan boiling away vigorously for about 20 minutes. It's reduced right down, not to a great deal left, bearing in mind how many tomatoes we had in the first place, but we don't use very much ketchup, do we? You know, when we're eating it. So although the large number of tomatoes doesn't produce all that much, you know, it's enough. And the way to test really whether the ketchup is ready in terms of thickness while you're boiling it on the stove is to run your wooden spoon across the bottom of the saucepan about that speed, and if you can just see the bottom of the saucepan just behind the spoon before the liquid then closes in over it, then you know that's probably just about thick enough. Now if I do that, I can see that the bottom of the saucepan is just there trailing behind the spoon, and we've got about the right consistency for our ketchup, and it is absolutely fantastic. I can taste all the cinnamon and the coriander, and that ginger is in there. The chilli is quite strong, it's quite powerful. So, you know, as I said at the beginning of this video, you know, be careful with your chilies. It's all right for me, but some people don't like it so hot. So, you know, moderate your chilies. You'll soon get used to how many you need for the heat that you like. Now, I also said at the beginning that we would show you a trick of how you can preserve your ketchup and just bring it out on the amount you want every time and just serve it up for yourself or for your guests in the exact quantity that you want. So what we're going to do first of all is we're going to pour the ketchup back into our measuring jug. That's lovely and thick, that ketchup. You can see it's already cooled down a lot. The cooler it gets, the thicker it gets, of course, and talking to you it's cooled down a lot. There is loads more left in there which I could scrape out and would do normally, but you know, for the purposes of speed, talking to you, I shall put that in the sink. And the secret is an ice cube tray. All we do is we put our ketchup into individual ice cubes. Okay, just pour it in there. We put the ice cube tray in the freezer, and those will freeze up absolutely fine. Now if you've got plenty of space in your freezer, of course you can leave them in the ice cube tray and just take the ice cube tray out. When you want a certain amount, all you do is pop out 2, 3, 4, however many ice cubes you want, just put them in a ramekin or whatever you're going to serve it up in, and just let them defrost in there. Once they've defrosted, give it a quick whiz around, you know, with the spoon that you're going to leave in there, and it's ready to go. You know, it's there, it's ready to go on the table, and of course it's been preserved. If you put this in a jar and put it away in the cupboard, you know, even if you sterilise your jars and then close the lid right down tight, you know, you've got 3 months probably for it to last. But of course, as soon as you've opened it, you'll have to eat it. You can't, it won't last. It'll last in the fridge a few days, I suppose, because there's just no preservative in it. This way, if you put these in the freezer, they'll last for ages, you know, months and months and months, and you just pick out those that you want each specific time. And that's a great secret for all these things that are sauces and so on that don't have any preservatives in, is to freeze them in cubes. And of course, if you don't have the space, just freeze these down good and solid, leave them for a couple of days to get really hard, pop them all out, put them in a plastic bag, and then put them back in the freezer. The plastic bag will take up far less space than your ice tray, and then you can just break a few off because they're bound to stick slightly together. And again, you know, you can break a couple off and defrost them in the same way. So that's the tip for preserving your ketchups, and that recipe is going to be on my blog, along with some other variants. We're going to do a Thai, and we're going to do an Indian, and we might do a Mexican version, all done in exactly the same way. The process is exactly how you've seen it on the video. All that'll be different are the spices that you put in, and that'll all be there on my blog at mypicklesandjams.com. The URL is down there at the moment. I hope you've enjoyed watching this, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.